Hello everyone, this is Shikha, your English teacher. Now we move towards a third chapter, Journey to the End of Earth of a course book, Vistas. So our chapter, Journey to the End of Earth, written by Tishani Doshi. It's a female writer. Before we read the chapter, if you want to know more about the planet's past, present and future, then Antarctica is the place to go to bon voyage. Now, Antarctica is a place situated on southern hemisphere. It is the most coldest and driest place in the world. If you want to know the origin of the earth, the evolution of the earth, how the earth was there before thousands of the year, so it is the best place to visit. And how we visit here? Through waterway. Okay, so this is a chapter about a journey, about traveling through the waterway of a teacher with the group of students to the Antarctica. Some new words from this chapter that will help you to explain the chapter better. Expensives called covering a wide area. Amalgamated, combined. Thrived, exist. Grasp, seize. Evolution is called development. Extinction means state of disappearing. Mind-boggling is called surprising. Drifting off means to fall asleep. Devoid means completely lacking in. Midget and mites are microscopic animals. Austral is related to the southern hemisphere. Consecrates, sacred. Avalanche or calving is called ice that falling from the mountain. Immersion means sunk completely. Prognosis is called forecast. Paltry means very small. Ruckus is confusion. Unmitigated is uncontrolled. Disrupted is interrupted. Pristine is called natural. Blaze means unimpressed. Repercussion is called result of an action. Assimilate is combine. Parable is a story. Epiphanies means realization. Flows is called sheet of floating ice. Gore-Tex means waterproof fabric used in outdoors. And revelation is called process to receive something. Early this year, I found myself aboard a Russian researcher vessel, the academic Sokolsky, heading towards the coldest, driest, windiest continent in the world, Antarctica. So early means first or second month of the starting of the year. Now the narrator is saying that she is going on a Russian researcher vessel. Vessel means a ship. Okay, the name of the ship is Academic Sokolsky, and this ship is heading towards the coldest and the driest and the windiest continent of the world named Antarctica. Means the narrator was going abroading in a ship Academic Sokolsky towards the Antarctica. My journey began 1309 degree north of the equator in Madras and involved crossing 9 time zones, 6 checkpoints, 3 bodies of water, and at least as many ecospheres. Now, the narrator is basically belongs to Madras, okay, the south part of the India. So from there she is going towards 13.09 degree north towards the equator, okay, and from this way she is heading to Antarctica, and for this journey she has to cross at least 9 time zones, 6 checkpoints, 3 water bodies, and so many ecosphere. So this is really a very far journey. By the time I actually set foot on the Antarctica continent, I had been traveling over 100 hours in combination of a car, an aeroplane and a ship. So after completing the journey of 100 hours, so long journey she has completed, and this journey, all the combinations means of traveling through aeroplane, through car and through a ship. Now she is finally steps her foot on Antarctica continent. My first emotion on facing Antarctica's expensive white landscape and uninterrupted blue horizon was relief. So, when she reached Antarctica's continent, the first expression of her was a relief that yes, finally I reached here after a long journey. Then, after reaching there, she saw a white landscape spread all over where covered with the snowy. There is a blue sea was there. The meeting point of the sky and the sea was a horizon. Means everything she can see very new. It's a type of relief emotion, followed up with an immediate and profound wonder. Immediate is called now. Very soon she is going to found a wonderful scene ahead. That is, was profound. Profound is called when you are thinking over that which kind of surprise, which kind of wondered place is this. Wonder at its immensity, its isolation, but mainly at how there could ever be time when the India and Antarctica were the part of the same landmass. So, which type of wonder was there? That was so immense, means that was so vast till the extent, till the distance you can see the snow flowed, snow covered floor, the sea, blue sea, means everywhere it's so cold, so driest, so windiest continent that is spread so far, that is so much isolated. Isolated is called, obviously at this place no living bodies, no living creatures can survive, so there is nobody, that was all alone. But the most wonderful thing for the narrator was that she wants to know that how the India and Antarctica once have been the same part of the same landmass, means the India was also the part of the same landmass once upon a time. So she was very wonder to know, she was very keen to know about this surprise. So this chapter is divided in parts. So first part is part of history. 650 million years ago, a giant amalgamated southern supercontinent Gondwana did indeed exist, centered roughly around the present day Antarctica. So we are talking about near 650 million years ago, when there was a amalgamated is called combined or joint. There was a supercontinent called Gondwana was there, and that we are knowing that with the name of Antarctica. Means the Antarctica previous name was Gondwana, that exists before 650 million years ago, and that was a supercontinent. Supercontinent, you can say the combination of the continent, the huge continent, only one. Things were quite different then. Humans hadn't arrived on the global scene, and the climate was much warmer, hosting a huge variety of flora and fauna. Obviously, if we are talking about before many years, the era, at that time humans were not there, or no living creature was there, then the total global scene was different. Okay, and the climate was much warmer on the Gondwana supercontinent. There was full of flora and fauna. Flora and fauna means the animals and the plants. So rather we are seeing the Antarctica in the today's era. Gondwana was not exactly that before millions of the years ago. That Gondwana was having the warmer climate, and that was full of plants and creatures. For 500 million years, Gondwana thrived. Now, thrived means exist, means near about 5 million years ago, Gondwana, the supercontinent, was there. But around the time when the dinosaurs were wiped out and the age of the mammals got underway, the landmass was forced to separate into countries. But as we are talking about the age of the dinosaurs. Okay, so the age when the dinosaurs are going to be wiped out means disappearing. They are on the stage of disappearing, and humans are on the age of take birth. Means that was the time of disappearance of the dinosaur and the origin of the living creatures. So we are talking about of that time. But as you can think, when the living creature is coming on the land, obviously they are not going to survive in this area. if we are living creature, we definitely need a home to live in, food to eat, water to drink, and according to ourselves, according to our needs, we are going to divide the atmosphere, we are going to set the atmosphere and the landmass according to ourselves, and the exactly has been done millions of years ago. And this total supercontinent, the one complete landmass, was divided in so many countries where the living creature that those are originated, they can live there, shaping the globe much as we know it today. So that time means before millions of years ago, when there was only one supercontinent named Gondwana, that is gradually divided into countries, so many countries, and now we can see the shape, we can see the map. Okay, the word, how is the geography of the world, we can see that was formed millions of the years ago after the origin of the human creature. To visit Antarctica now is to be a part of that history, to get a grasp of where we have come from and where we could possibly be heading. So Antarctica is the that place. After visiting, you can better know the origin of the Earth, the evolution or the development of the Earth, that how we were at a time, and now in this condition, how we come to this condition after covering a long journey. So for all this information, all the geographical and historical part of the earth, if you want to know, then Antarctica is the best place. It's to understand the significance of the Cordilleran folds and Precambrian granite shield, ozone and carbon evolution and extinction. So this is the total geographical condition of the earth. If you want to know how the Cordilleran folds, Precambrian granite shield, ozone and carbon, they came into being, they have taken the origin on the earth, how they developed, and how so many geographical elements disappeared from the earth. So to know the total geographical elements present on the earth, how you know, after visiting the Antarctica. So it is the finest place to know the previous geography of the earth. When you think about all that can happen in a millions years, it can get a pretty mind boggling. Now mind boggling is called something you have to surprise, you have to feel a type of wonder when you are going to know that what exactly the condition were there before millions of the years ago. Imagine India pushing northwards. Now, a little geographical example is being given. Okay, the glimpse of the how the geographical condition is changed. As we taught earlier, as I taught you earlier, that Gondwana was a supercontinent, means only one continent was there. But after the origin of the human being, it is divided into so many continents and countries. Okay, so how it is divided? India pushing northwards means India has come in the northern hemisphere, jamming against Asia to buckle its crust and from the Himalayas. Okay, means it is India has come in northern hemisphere and situated in the Asian continent. Our India is an Asian continent and in northern hemisphere. Okay, so it is exactly how the countries are made. It is telling that India come in northern hemisphere in the Asian continent and buckle its crust. Buckle is called to tie, and crust is the first layer of earth. Means the India has come in, India has joined is land in the Asian continent. Fine. From the Himalayas, South America drifting off to join North America. Now from the Himalayan region, South America drifting off is called to fall asleep, means without any force, without making any noise, America calmly joined the North America. South America joined North America, opening up the Drake Passage to create a cold circumpolar current. Now, circumpolar current is basically regarded with the sea current, okay, the sea wave. So, there was a passage, means a passage has been made through this when the India is pushing towards the northern hemisphere, and South America is joined North America, and there is a passage, drag passage is created, that is cold circumpolar current keeping Antarctica very frigid. Means now according like this in America and Asia, just they moved from the place, and there remain a drake passage that was very frigid. Frigid is called, that is very cold, icy cold. Okay, desolate is called isolated, nobody is there, because in this condition, in this icy environment, no creature can live, and at the bottom of the world. And now this Antarctica region is shifted towards the bottom of the world. Okay, so like this is a type of, means a little glimpse has been presented that how the continents has been divided. India has gone upwards toward the northern hemisphere, fine. North America joined South America, and there is a a total circumpolar current, a big passage, drake passage is created, and after that great passage, Antarctica shifted at the bottom of the world, and that become the coldest, the frigid region of all over the world. For a sun worshipping South Indian like myself, 2 weeks in a place where 90% of the earth's total ice volumes are stored is a chilling prospect. Now, the narrator is belonging to South India, that is rather warmer, of warmer climate, where we worship sun, and now she is in the coldest place of the world, where near about 90% of the earth's total ice volume is stored. So that was a very chilling prospect for the narrator, not just for the circulatory and metabolic functions, but also for the imagination. So circulatory and metabolic function is regarding with your physical system. Okay, the circulatory system and the metabolical system. Obviously, when the climate is going to change, the your physical functions is going to change. But not only the physical function, your imagination, it is also affecting your mental system of your body. It's like walking into a giant ping pong ball. Now, ping pong ball is a tennis ball of white, super white color. So she's saying that she is just experiencing that she is walking on a giant, on a big ping pong ball. Huge ping pong ball, devoid of any human makers, no trees, billboards, buildings. On this huge, the big ping pong ball, means in Antarctica region you can find no man, no trees, no hoardings, and no buildings. Means no living condition can be imagined at this place. You lose all earthly sense of perspective and time here. Now, earthly sense means we can imagine the earth with full of flora, fauna, food, shelter, water, so all the living condition, but these living condition cannot be imagined at Antarctica. The visual scale ranges from the microscopic to the mighty. Visually, if you can see, it is full of the microscopic, means very tiny organisms were present there, and to the mighty is called very huge ones. Now, the microscopic are midget and mites, and the blue weights and icebergs as big as the countries. So the microscopic, the tiny midget and mites, they are the tiny organism, you are not able to see them with your eyes. Okay, and the blue whales, the biggest animal, the sea creature you can find in the form of blue whales. And the icebergs, the Antarctica region is full of icebergs, and those icebergs are as big as the countries. And the largest recorded was the size of Belgium. Once it is recorded, and that was of the same size of the Belgium. So big, so huge icebergs has been recorded in this region. Days go on and on and on in surreal 24 hours austral summer night. Now, surreal is called the fact. Okay, austral is related to southern hemisphere. So the real, the fact of the that you can find in the southern hemisphere, that summer light can be imagined at this place as the days goes on. Okay, and a ubiquitous silence. Ubiquitous is called spread it everywhere. Absolute silence is there, because there is no living creature, no living conditions are there. So always there is absolute silence is there, interrupted only by the occasional avalanche or calving ice sheets consecrate the place. Now, consecrate is called the sacred place, and avalanche is a type of natural calamity in which the big ice balls or ice sheets fall down from the mountain with the loud sound. Okay, so whenever the avalanche or the Kelvin came in this region, the Antarctic region, the absolute silence can be broken only by this natural calamity. And this is a type of sacred place. Obviously, where is absolute silence will be there, then it is considered as a sacred place because nobody is going there. It's an immersion that will force you to place yourself in the context of the Earth's geological history. Now, immersion is called sink completely, lost completely. So, it is a type of place. If you go there, that it will definitely force you to lost yourself, that how the Earth geographical condition changes gradually, slowly, till this condition. You are definitely going to know about this. Okay, means once you present at this place, you are not going to stop yourself from knowing the history of the Earth's geographical condition. And for humans, the prognosis is not good. Prognosis is called the forecast, means here, but at this place, it is the fine place to know about the geographical condition of history, but is not at all good for the humans, means it is not forecast good for the humans, means never we can imagine the living conditions here. Next part of the chapter, human impact. Impact is called effect. Human civilizations have been around for a paltry 12,000 years, barely a few seconds on a geographical clock. Now, paltry is called very small, very trivial. Okay, so human civilization as it is developed through 12,000 years. But if we see through the geographical clock, it is just gone in a few seconds. Means according to our clock, human civilization has been made before 12,000 years ago. But if we see this thing from the point of geographical clock, then only the few seconds has been passed. In that short amount of the time, we have managed to create quite a ruckus. Now, ruckus is called a type of confusion. Okay, means in this time, means in the total civilization developing time, we have managed a type of confusion. A type of confusion only we managed to create, itching our dominance over nature with our villages, towns, cities, and mega cities. Now, how we have dominance of power? Dominance is called when you are showing your force, showing your power. And to whom you are showing your power? Nature. Nature is rather more powerful, but the human is not understanding this thing, and human is doing against the nature of our this atmosphere. What is he doing? He is making village, he is making towns, cities, and mega cities, means too much industrialization is there. The rapid increase of human population has left us battling with the other species for limited resources. Rapid is called very fast. Okay, means the speed through which the human population is going on. Okay, so this is left us battling is called fighting with the other species for their limited resources. Means we the humans are so clever, they are so insane that they are just busy in collecting their resources. Whatever is beneficial for them, they are collecting themselves, for only for themselves, but they are not regarding for the other species. Means other living creatures are also there. Living creatures, the plants came, the animals came, insect came, birds came, but they are making negative effect on them by creating the resources for themselves, but the required resources for other creatures are limited. Okay, then, and the unmitigated burning of the fossil fuels. Mitigated is called when you are reducing, and unmitigated when you are increasing. When you are increasing the fossil fuels are the non-renewable resources. Okay, and when you are wasting these fossil fuels, now they are creating a blanket of the carbon dioxide around the world. So by burning the fossil fuels and by using the those type of equipments that is reducing so much carbon amount in the atmosphere, means the day by day they are increasing their carbon footprint on the earth. So it is creating what it is coming in the result. It is coming in the result that there is a type of blanket is spreaded of the carbon dioxide in all around the world, which is slowly but surely increasing the average global temperature. As we are increasing our carbon footstep, we are increasing the global temperature, and this global temperature is slowly increasing the global warming. That is not good for our environment. Climate change is one of the most hotly contested environmental debates of our time. Now, if we talk about the most discussed debate topic, then that must be climate change all over the world. Will the West Antarctic ice sheet be melt entirely? Now, what can be the topics of the climate change? Some examples have been given. That one of the example, will the West Antarctic ice sheet is going to be melt entirely, means complete sheet of the Antarctic region will be melted of west side. Will the Gulf Stream ocean current be disrupted is called interrupted, okay. Gulf Stream ocean, if the sheet is going to be melt, will it is interrupted the ocean current. Will it be the end of the world as we know it, means if we are going to feel the extreme cold region and extreme warm climate at different places of the earth, will it be the time of the end of the world, means these type of different topics were there. They were very debatable issue on the climate change all over the world. Maybe, may not be, either way Antarctica is a crucial element in this debate. Maybe or may not be, but Antarctica definitely come as a very important element in this debate, not just because it's the only place in the world which has never sustained a human population, not because of, means Antarctica is not come in this debate just because of it is the very coldest region of all over the world, and it is not experienced any population till now, and therefore remains relatively pristine. In the respect, pristine is called untouched, natural. So human population is not there, so no exploitation is there, nobody disturb the climate, the atmosphere of Antarctica. This Antarctica, the region of the Antarctica is same as now as it was thousands of years before. But more importantly, because it holds in its ice core half million years old carbon records trapped in its layer of ice. So Antarctica came in the debate region just because it is holding the ice cores. Cores is the deepest part of the geographical element. As you know, core is the deepest layer of the earth, same as the ice cores. The deepest layer of the ice half million years ago, means near about 500 million years ago carbon records we can find in the layer of the ice that is situated in Antarctica, and that's why it is our most important element to be discussed on the debate of climate change. If we want to study and examine the Earth's past, present, and future, Antarctica is the place to go. Obviously, we can find the same geographical condition, means we are living in today's era, okay. We have disturbed the total geographical condition and atmosphere of the earth that once it had been, and we have created according to ourselves because we touched it, because we are disturbing it every day. But Antarctica is a region nobody touched. It is a pristine region, it is a natural region that is not disturbed at all. So if you want to know the past, the origin of the earth, the origin of all the geographical element, Antarctica is the best place. The present time, means present time, if you go to that place you can know the present condition as well. And the future time, if you want to know the future condition of the earth geographical condition, so for both, for three of them, for the past, for the present, for the future, Antarctica is the best place to get the full knowledge about that. Student on Ice, the program I was working with on the Shukalski aims to do exactly this by taking high school students to the end of the world and providing them with inspiring educational opportunities which will help them foster a new understanding and respect for our planet. Now, narrator is saying that she has come with a group of high school student on the vessel Shukalski,
on a program, and the program name was Student on Ice. And the aim of this program is to provide the educational opportunities which motivate them to gather more information, more understanding regarding our planet. It's been in operation for 6 years now, headed by Canadian Geoff Green, who got tired of carting celebrities and retired rich curiosity seekers who could only give back in the limited way. Now there is an operation that was operated by a geologist, that was a Canadian, Geoff Green, before 6 years, and who has started a operation, and who was previously giving his services to the celebrities, to the wealthy person, but now he got tired from all of this, and he now wants to know the curiosity seekers, means who wants to get the knowledge, okay, who can give them back in a limited way. Means if you are giving your services to the wealthy, to the rich persons, they can, what they can give you back, they can give you back in the limited way, but that is not satisfy a type of person if you want to know more and more. So Geoffrey Green want to give more to the curiosity seekers who wants to know, who really want are the knowledge seekers. With Students on Ice, he offers the future generation, the policy makers, a life changing experience at an age when they are ready to absorb, learn, and the most importantly act. So what is in which he is most interested? He just want to give opportunity to the students, okay, through the program Student on Ice, so that it can be a type of policy. Means he want to be a policy maker, that can be the life changing experience for the students, and for those students who are ready to absorb the information, absorb the knowledge, to learn the things, and most importantly, to after knowing about those things, they are ready to act for them.
So this chapter is divided in parts. So first part is part of history. 650 million years ago, a giant amalgamated southern supercontinent Gondwana did indeed exist, centered roughly around the present day Antarctica. So we are talking about near 650 million years ago, when there was a amalgamated, is called combined or joint. There was a supercontinent called Gondwana was there, and that we are knowing that with the name of Antarctica. Means the Antarctica previous name was Gondwana, that exists before 650 million years ago, and that was a supercontinent. Supercontinent, you can say the combination of the continent, the huge continent, only one. Things were quite different then. Humans hadn't arrived on the global scene, and the climate was much warmer, hosting a huge variety of flora and fauna. Obviously, if we are talking about before many years, the era, at that time humans were not there, or no living creature was there, then the total global scene was different, okay, and the climate was much warmer on the Gondwana supercontinent. There was full of flora and fauna. Flora and fauna means the animals and the plants. So rather we are seeing the Antarctica in the today's era. Gondwana was not exactly that before millions of the years ago. That Gondwana was having the warmer climate, and that was full of plants and creatures. For 500 million years, Gondwana thrived. Now, thrived means exist, means near about 5 million years ago, Gondwana, the super Antarctica, because of a simple ecosystem and lack of biodiversity, is the perfect place to study how little changes in the environment can have big repercussions. Now, Antarctica, there is very simple ecosystem and no biodiversity. Why? Because living creatures are not there. If animals and humans will be there, then they can set the ecosystem according to themselves, and the ecosystem and biodiversity could have been changed, but nobody lives there. So it is a perfect place that how, if we are making any little change in the environment, that can be seen in the big repercussion is called the consequence, the result. What can be the big result of your small action can be seen perfectly at this place.
Take the microscopic phytoplankton, those grasses of the sea that nourish the sustain the entire southern ocean's food chain. Now here we are talking about the microscopic phytoplankton. Now phytoplankton are a microscopic organism that you can, in simple language, you can know the seagrass. Okay, the seagrass that is very much required for the southern ocean to survive the food chain. Means the phytoplankton are the microscopic type of organism in the form of grass that is the food for so many sea creatures. Means so many small fishes, they come and eat these grasses, and then big creatures eat small creatures. So there is a type of food chain. So that this is a type of sustainable is called permanent food chain is there. Okay, these single celled plants use the sun's energy to assimilate carbon and synthesize organic compounds in that wondrous. So these are the single cell plants. Means there is only one single cell is there in these plants. Which plants? Phytoplankton plants. And they use sunlight. When the sunlight came down, they assimilate is called collect. They collect all the carbons from the sunlight and then synthesize them and make organic compound that is very much required for the sea creatures. Means they make the food for the the tiny sea creatures who are going to come and eat these single celled organism. So these single celled organism maintain a type of ecosystem inside the southern ocean. The most important process is called photosynthesis. So this process is called photosynthesis. You better know what is photosynthesis. When the plant is using sunlight to make the required element to make the food for the other creatures, that is called photosynthesis, and exactly it is done by the phytoplanktons. Scientists warn that a further depletion in the ozone layer will affect the activities of phytoplankton. Scientists, after their research, has been predicted this thing, that if we are going to stuck on doing a harmful activities against the nature, it is going to be deplete the ozone layer and it is going to be affect phytoplankton, which in turn will affect the lives of all the marine animals and the birds of the region and the global carbon cycle. If one thing in the atmosphere is going to be affect, all the things present in the atmosphere is going to be affected. Means all the marine animals, the sea creature is going to be affected, birds are going to be affected, and the total carbon cycle is going to be disturbed. In the parable of the phytoplankton, there is a great metaphor of our existence. Take care of the small things and the big things will fall into the place. Parable is called a type of moral story. So a type of moral story of the phytoplankton is there. What means there is a super saying, a great saying of the existence of the creatures is there. If you are doing the small things, if you are completing your small duties, all the big things is going to be managed itself. So we have to do exactly this thing. We have to complete our small duties and all the big things, big activities is going to be sustain itself. Third part of the chapter, walk on the ocean. My Antarctic experience was full of such epiphanies, but the best occurred just short of the Antarctic Circle at 65.55 degrees south. Now, epiphanies means realization. Now, the narrator is talking about the realization she realized at the time when she was passing in the Antarctic region. But the best realization was occurred on the Antarctic Circle, that was a point of 65.55 degree towards south. The Shukalsky had managed to wedge herself into a thick white stretch of ice between the peninsula and Tadpole Island, which was preventing us from going any further. So their vessel, their ship, Shukalsky, that a ship is not going to manage itself to go further, and that was stuck between the iceberg of peninsula and Tadpole. Means they are not able to move ahead because the vessel was stuck between the peninsula and Tadpole, that was a white stretch of ice. the captain decided we were going to turn around and head back north. Now the captain has decided, as we cannot move ahead, we have to go back towards north. But before we did, we were all instructed to climb down the gangplank and walk on the ocean. Okay, now we are doing so, but before that, we all were instructed by an experienced person that we have to go down, and then on we have to walk on the ocean. How we can walk on the ocean means that was a so frigid region that the ocean water turned in the ice sheet, means anybody easily can walk on the water because that has turned in the ice. That was so frigid region on the gangplank. So there we were all 52 of us kitted out in the Gore-Tex and glares. So how many peoples were there? Total 52 members were there, and they have taken out their kit. Kitted out is called their kit. And what were there in the kit? Gore-Tex. Now Gore-Tex is a type of waterproof fabric that we used to wear when we are going out, so that we are not going to affected by the atmosphere, the water vapors, the cool water vapors, the cool wind, and the glares means to cover our eyes with the glasses. Okay, so all these things we have taken out in a kit, and we come out after wearing all these things and started walking on the stark whiteness, all that seem to be spread out forever. Now after wearing all these things, very carefully we started walking on the white sheet, and it was looking like this white is not going to be end. Okay, that is going to be stretched forever. Underneath our feet was a meter thick ice pack. Now you can imagine that ice pack was so thick that their thickness can be measured in a meter, and underneath that 180 meters of the living breathing salt water, and till the depth of the 180 meters there was a salt water of the living and breathing. Means the living and breathing has come for the sea creatures. Means after 1 meter, on the 1 meter thick ice sheet we were walking fine, and after that 1 meter ice sheet there was water that was again 180 meter deep, and there were living being the sea creatures who were living there, who were breathing there, and that water was salty water. In the periphery, cribito seals were stretching and sunning themselves on the ice floes, much like stray dogs will do under the shade of the banyan tree. Now in the periphery, mean the cribito is called the beach, as you can say. The periphery, the outskirt, means we were walking in between of the ocean. So at the side of the ocean where the small icebergs were there, open means the high icebergs they were there, you can see the seal. The seal means they are the animals, they are the creatures, sea creatures. They can also live in the water as well as on the land. So we saw so many sea creatures, they were sunning themselves, means they have just come out to take the sunlight, and they were stretching themselves on the ice floes. Floes is called the sheets of the ice that were floating in the water. So they come one of the sheets, and the sheet were so thick that it is not meant to be break. Okay, so any of the, and seals are very heavy animals, so the seals can very easily climb over the ice sheet, and they are stretching their bodies and enjoy the sunlight. And they are just doing same like on our road, the stray dogs, the you can say the road dogs, you can see the road dogs, they are taking rest under the banyan tree, same as the seal were taking rest on the ice sheet under the sunlight. It was nothing short of the revelation. Everything does indeed contact. It was nothing short. The revelation means that was not a revival thing. Everything indeed a connect, means that was the realization. Means in the reality we are feeling all these things. This is not just an imagination. 9 time zones, 6 checkpoints, 3 bodies of water, and many ecosphere. Later, I was still wondering about the beauty of balance in the play on our planet. Now, the narrator is back to its south region, okay, and after passing through the 9 time zones, 6 checkpoints, 3 water bodies, and many ecosphere. Now she is wondering that how the Antarctic region is balancing its beauty on the planet. How would it be if Antarctica were to become the warm place that it once used to be? Now, narrator is just applying in the different type of imagination in her mind that how will be the time, how will be the scene when the Antarctica again came its in the same position it was before thousands of the years ago, and again the climate of Antarctica became warm. Will be around to see it, or would we have gone the way of the dinosaurs, mammoth, and woolly rhinos? So she was again thinking that till the time means till the warm climate again come, till the time what happened with the human, maybe we have gone away like the dinosaurs or mammoths is called very big and huge animals, like they are disappeared, we also disappeared. And woolly rhinos, the rhinoceros, they are also very huge animals. So all the huge animals, like they disappears uh, slowly we also disappeared, and at that time maybe the time come that again the warmer climate can be experienced at that place. Who's to say? Nobody can say this. But after spending 2 weeks with a bunch of the teenagers who still have the idealism to save the world, all I can say is that a lot can happen in a million years. But narrator was feeling a very positive relief in her heart after spending near about 2 weeks with the group of the teenager students, because the students do have their this type of idealism in their mind that what is going to be happen with the world they are keen to know about. Okay, but what a difference a day makes. But what a difference means, if we are passing one another day there will be no difference. Okay, so they have been experienced near about 2 weeks there, and the total realization of spending 2 weeks on the Antarctic region with the group of the student on an educational tour, that is depicted in the form of this chapter. So I hope that this chapter gives you a very different ideology, very different, take you to the different place in the imagination when I was depicting this chapter, and I hope you understand this chapter. So that's it for now. We'll meet again.